I'm over here at my country's embassy in Budapest. Don't ask me why, because I'm not going to tell you. Today we're going to leave this godforsaken city and we're going to go to Romania for a couple of days. And after that, we're going to go to the best city in the best country in Europe, which is Warsaw, Poland. And we're going to stay there for a very long time. Now, I'm up at 6:30, I think, as it is right now, but I've been up for the past hour and a half because I couldn't sleep. So I figured I'm going to discuss this a little bit further because a couple of days ago I made a video about this subject, and I was just kind of fucking around just to see how people are going to react. And a lot of people got mad, a lot of people agreed with me, a lot of people have more questions. And you know, the funny part is that every time people get mad at my videos, it's good for me. Every time people comment shit, you know, I don't read these comments, you know, I read maybe a couple, but then I don't have time to read this shit. And there's people writing paragraphs and they get angry, right? And then they go on Reddit and they talk shit about Aryan and all this. They think that they're somehow hurting me, but they're actually boosting my engagement by commenting on my videos. So it's helping my channel grow because then more people are discussing it. And then, you know, you're taking the discussion over to another platform, and then somebody is going to participate in the discussion. They're going to come check out my channel. So it's actually helping me massively. In any case, I realize that this is a subject which is definitely worth discussing, but I'm going to try to give you guys a little bit of, I'm going to give you some more concrete advice in this video, because in the last video, like I said, I was kind of just fucking around. And I know a lot of people come to me because they genuinely want some advice. They genuinely want me to help them understand what to do in this kind of situation, all right? So I got a little story for you guys. Now, the situation is as follows. They made computers, in simple terms, they made computers which can do in seconds what it takes human beings hours to complete if they've spent months learning to acquire that skill, all right? I'll give you an example. Let's say Photoshop, okay? Back in the day, and I'm talking about 10 years ago, if you wanted to learn Photoshop, first you gotta go online, watch a bunch of tutorials, learn about the tools, you gotta practice them so you get quick, so you can work pretty quickly, so you can get all sorts of ideas, so you're comfortable with the program. You really had to practice this shit. And then you have to complete a project which is going to take you hours to do. And what you do now is you just go online on one of these AI fucking 2D painting tools and you just tell him, hey, do this, do that, you know, and you sit down and he can do it. It might not be that good. A human being can still do it better. I understand that part. But the fact that he can do it and the fact that this is evolving as quickly as it is, I think speaks for itself. I think there's no discussion around the idea that AI is going to be able to do these jobs better than human beings in every aspect. There's no comparison whatsoever, okay? I'll give you another example. I'm an author. I published 4 books already. I'm writing another one. It's something that I've been doing for a long time. I've been trained by professionals to do this, and I'm going to continue to do this for a pretty long time. So I understand very well the process of writing a book. And I write books about educational stuff, okay, about 3D modeling primarily. So I understand very well what it takes to produce a couple of pages of educational content. And I know that this is not really an easy task. You really have to put some effort into it, and it's quite time consuming. But what happens is you go to ChatGPT, which is completely for free. You can do this right now. And you can tell ChatGPT, hey, ChatGPT, can you please write 3 pages about such and such and such? You can pick any subject. You have no idea what this, you don't know anything about this subject. For example, I don't know, what is the difference between men and women when it comes to assimilating, when they migrate from Islamic communities into European countries? What is the difference between how men and women assimilate into societies? Give me some information about this. I want to write a book about this. You don't know anything about this subject. But you just ask ChatGPT a couple of questions. You tell them to put together this and this. Before you know it, with the help of ChatGPT, you produced an entire chapter where you properly elaborated on this subject. You can put together a bunch of hypotheses. You can answer them. You can write a book about something that you don't know anything about. Okay, that's what I'm trying to tell you. And that's fucking crazy because this guy will do it for you in 30 seconds. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't have to still do some work next to it, but by all means, it makes it so much easier to do a whole bunch of different creative tasks. It looks like it's no longer going to be worth it to spend a lot of time learning to do the creative task yourself, right? So for example, like I gave you the Photoshop example, it looks like it's not gonna make too much sense to learn this in the future. Why would you learn to use Photoshop and all the tools and all this shit Why would you go to school for this perhaps and pay money for this when you can just have a computer do it instead of you? That's the kind of the question that people are coming to me with. So the problem is that a lot of people already invested a lot of time into these creative skills. So what are you going to do now that a computer is just going to replace your ass? Well, what are you supposed to do? Okay. So that's a fact. There's not really any discussion on that subject. I think it's pretty clear to, I don't think it's a matter worth discussing. If anybody wants to debate whether or not AI is going to continue to evolve, I'm not really down for that discussion, because to me it's like debating whether the sky is blue. Maybe I'm missing something, but that's how things seem from my perspective. So the question is, what do you do? All right. And I'm going to try to use a little story to explain this to you guys. All right. There's one thing that I think that AI is not going to be able to replace for a very long time. Maybe it will be able to do this 100 years in the future, but I think that within the lifetime of you watching this and me making this video, within our lifetimes, I don't think AI is going to be able to replace one thing, and that's human relationships. All right. What do I mean by why is that so important? All right. Let's say that you're a 3D artist or you're a video editor. It's all the same shit, because it's all creative digital skills which you're using to perform services for somebody else in exchange for money, right? Let's say, for example, you're a 3D artist, all right? There's no question about it. Now, AI is not really going to be able to replace 3D modeling that easily, in the sense that, you watch Thomas Collins videos and topology and all this. That's some pretty complicated shit. I don't know if AI is going to be able to replace that and be able to produce 3D models in the same way that Thomas Collins can do it, for example. I think it's going to be quite a while before that's the case. But if you're looking at the applications of 3D modeling, for example, product visualization, that's just a fucking video. And you guys know damn well that there's programs out there, and it's definitely going in the direction of, you put in a little prompt, you put in a couple of prompts, and you tell him what to do, and he is going to make a beautiful scene of absolutely anything that you want in a couple of seconds. There's no point spending months learning how to use this program and then spending hours and hours trying to produce cool animation if there's a computer who can put this together in 30 seconds, okay? But I'm gonna give you one more example, which is effectively the same, which is video editing. And that's where I'm gonna base my story around, all right? So I have a friend of mine, benza.exe on Instagram, and I've known this guy for a long time. And earlier this year, we got very close to each other because I realized that he's a video editor. He started learning video editing, and I figured, well, shit, I make these YouTube videos, you edit videos. We've known each other for a long time. Let's work together. I'm gonna record a video, and I'm gonna send it to you so you can edit it. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Just cut that shit up, process it a little bit like I usually do, and in the meantime, I can record another video, or I can do my other work. So now, because of this, I can produce twice as much, just because I'm working with this person, okay? Now, what I'm trying to tell you is that this is a job which is pretty simple. This is a job which, if you think about the video editing part, it's quite simple, because you just have to basically cut out the silence from the videos or something. You have to separate it into chapters. It's not that difficult to use AI for this, right? I think it's pretty easy to imagine a scenario where you can use AI to do something like this, or you train him, maybe you do a little bit of programming, you tell him how to do it, and you basically put in the video, he does all the editing for you, he puts in an intro and all this. I don't know if there's tools for this already, I'm not really interested right now, but certainly that's going to be the case in the future, right? But what I'm trying to tell you guys is that there's no fucking AI which is going to replace the relationship that I have with Benza, all right? Because he is somebody who I've known for many years. He's somebody who I can trust with anything, okay? And he is somebody who my relationship with him is based around a lot more than just the video editing, because we talk about a whole bunch of different aspects of whatever operation I am running over here on this YouTube shit, okay? So he's involved in a whole bunch of different aspects of what I do. And it goes way beyond just video editing. That's just what we kind of got together around, but it evolved into so much more, that this person is somebody who I depend on greatly, if you can put it that way, right? He's somebody who's deeply involved in what I'm doing, and there's no computer that can replace this shit for me, all right? It's a very deep relationship between two people that nobody can really replace. So even if AI makes a tool which is going to be able to do the video editing job, it doesn't fucking matter. What's going to happen is maybe he's going to learn to use that tool, but I'm still going to have him help me with this stuff, and I'm still going to have him involved in what I'm doing, and we're still going to be working together, making money together, and everyone's going to be living great. Okay, so what happens is, from his perspective, perhaps as a video editor, if AI comes along and replaces the video editing job where it can do what I just described to you, that's a great thing, because now all of a sudden all he has to do is use the fucking AI, process the videos, and guess what? Now he can handle so much more workload. And now because he has a relationship with me, now maybe I know somebody else who's a YouTuber, so now I can have him work for somebody else as well. And now maybe we split some of the money because now he can do so much more video editing, and now he can also help me with a whole bunch of other things. I think you understand what I'm getting at. So the fact that AI is going to is going to be able to complete this simple task, which he does as video. It's simple in the sense that, you know, this is the simplest part of the fucking job, okay? When it comes to editing my videos, for example. The fact that AI is going to be able to do this in no way, shape, or form means that this person is going to get replaced, and that this guy is going to lose his relationship with me, and that this guy is going to lose his this part of his income, right? There's no fucking way that's gonna happen, all right? So what I'm trying to tell you is that you guys have to put yourself in a position where what you offer to somebody is a lot more than just a cold-blooded service. Because guess what? If you're a shoe shiner on the street and you want to charge me, I don't know, back in the day, I don't know how this shit worked. I'm too young to remember this. There's no shoe shiners today. Maybe I should have used a better example where I can talk about it a little bit more concretely, but I think you'll understand my point. A shoe shiner is, I'm walking around, there's a dude with some fucking tools and shit, and he's gonna clean my shoes and all this, and then I'm gonna pay him, I don't know, 10, 20 bucks, whatever the case may be, right? And before you know it, there's gonna be a robot who can just do this for you in like 3 minutes. And guess what? He doesn't have to go home to pay his bills, so it's more like a vending machine. The robot will take $2 for the same job. The shoe shiner is gonna get replaced, okay? So it's like a simple task. It's a simple job, which is not that difficult for a computer to do. It's not a complex task, which is, you know, a computer can replace this, which is good, because that means that society is just going to be more efficient. But what I'm trying to tell you is that if you put yourself in a position where what you have to offer is way more than this, for example, like I told you, you're friends with somebody and you work on them not because you just want to sell them a service, but because you genuinely want to help them. You genuinely want to help them run their business more efficiently. You want their life to be easier in whatever way. You're there for them, and you do a whole lot of other things for you, which cannot really be done by a computer. For example, maybe like customer service, or maybe handling discussions with people. Maybe there's all sorts of stuff that a computer can't really replace, at least not yet, and probably not for the foreseeable future. Okay, for example, on the phone, how are you going to get a computer to call somebody on the phone? That's not really going to work too well, because a computer doesn't have charisma yet. A computer can't form bonds with people, and business revolves around bonds with people. That's what sells. That's always going to be one of the primary elements in sales, having bonds and relationships and trust among people. And that's the most important thing, which cannot be replaced by AI. So you guys need to focus a lot more on those things which you have, which computers do not, which is you being a human being, you having a soul, you having a personality. That's what you should be focusing on, not some fucking IT tasks. And I've been trying to tell this to people for a very long time, and I know 3D artists like to reject this idea, because a lot of 3D artists, they're kind of socially I don't know what's a good word to describe it, but it's like they refuse to socialize. It's something that is just not really a part of their life. Exercising their social skills, exercising their personality and charisma is not really a part of their social life. They just chose to be in the house on the computer all day. Make sure you're not one of those people. That's the advice that I'm giving you, because if you're one of those people and you have no personality, then everything you do is behind a computer screen, and as far as your customer perhaps is concerned, you're just text on a screen and maybe a product which you deliver to them by email. If that's who you are, a computer is going to replace your ass. And guess what? It's going to be a guy like Benza, or a guy like me, or a guy like somebody else who's going to be running that AI shit, replacing your ass. And you're going to lose your job, because your competition is going to smoke you, okay? So focus on being a human being is the advice that I'm trying to give you. I think you guys understand what I'm telling you, and I hope this advice is going to help some of you now. I got to get my shit in order, and I got to hit the road, because like I said, we're going to Romania. Maybe I'll document this, maybe I won't. I'll see if I'll have the opportunity to do so. Maybe I'll just forget because I'm gonna have too much of a good time. I've got a whole lot of shit to do. I never really put my life on any of these videos or on any of this content outside of just, you know, maybe a little Instagram story where I comment on some bullshit. But maybe I'll do that today if I feel like it. If not, I'll definitely put it on Instagram, so go follow me on Instagram.